Join me on an unforgettable journey through the past. We'll explore amazing tales from across time and space, unlocking the secrets of ancient civilizations and uncovering modern-day stories. Let's embark on a captivating mission together. Get ready to be mesmerized with captivating stories about gods, demons, aliens, and fallen angels. You won't be able to take your eyes off this page as each tale will hold you in its magical spell.
Yahweh, the Israelite God. It is difficult to pinpoint the exact time at which Yahweh was first accepted as the main deity. However, one can trace initial references of this back to Elijah's teachings during the 9th century BCE. He spoke about Yahweh being the source of strength and blessing people with prosperity across their land. Studies have suggested that the difference between Yahweh and Baal's practices of worship can be traced back to the 8th century BCE, during Hosea's time as a prophet. Academics usually classify the original patrons of this movement as monolatrists instead of proper monotheists. Enosh was the grandchild of Adam and is renowned for being the one who first invoked the sacred name, Yahweh. This implies that they believed Yahweh was not the only deity, yet he should be worshipped by Israel over any other deities. During a crucial period in their history, the worshippers of Yahweh chose to reject any other deities and embraced true monotheism instead. Represented a major change from their previous belief in monolatry. The biblical book of 2nd Isaiah, 6th century BCE, was the first to suggest that Yahweh holds a unique status as the creator God of all the earth, and that this denotes a power over other gods, rather than independent monotheistic reasoning. This theological doctrine has since been accepted and venerated by many. Yahweh was an influential deity in the Levant region, commonly depicted as a divine warrior, and worshipped by ancient Israelites and Judahites. The deity is associated with areas like Ser, Edom, Teman and Paran prior to being worshipped as the national god of these civilizations. In ancient biblical literature, Yahweh was believed to possess certain qualities that were usually attributed to weather and war gods. Pharaoh of Egypt had refused to let the Hebrew Israelites leave his kingdom, despite the warnings of Moses and Aaron. In response, Yahweh sent a series of plagues to punish Pharaoh and his people. The first plague was a swarm of locusts that devoured all the crops in Egypt. This sparked a state of famine and terror throughout the area. The second plague brought something far more terrifying than death, a relentless darkness that blocked out the sun and moon's light. It was an oppressive atmosphere, leaving those below in unbearable pitch blackness for 3 days. Such an experience could take its toll on anyone's mental well-being. The third plague of Egypt brought about an unfathomable degree of destruction to its people. Crops and livestock were destroyed by an incredibly powerful hailstorm that caused havoc everywhere. An appalling scene greeted them. The ground was filled with lifeless creatures, and vultures flew in the sky. A rank smell of decay polluted the atmosphere, creating an unbearable experience. The fourth of the 10 plagues to befall Egypt was a massive infestation of frogs that filled every space in the country. Pharaoh commanded the Egyptians to gather them up into heaps, which caused a rank smell for months that spread over the palace, homes and fields alike. Research has revealed frogs may carry various illnesses and infections that can be harmful to humans. This can include salmonella, chytridiomycosis, hypothermia and impaction, all of which could lead to significant health problems if exposed. The fifth plague brought about by God's wrath was a pestilence that killed all the remaining livestock in Egypt. Consequently, a sense of silence and despair befell the land. In the sixth plague, boils broke out all over Egypt and the wailing of pain that filled the night was unbearable. Those suffering from this skin condition can feel overwhelmed, hopeless and desperate. The seventh plague was a hailstorm mixed with fire and sulfur that destroyed all the crops in Egypt. The expression, fire and brimstone, is frequently used to signify the torments of damnation, brimstone being a type of burning rock, usually sulfur, which is highly combustible. The eighth plague of Egypt mentioned in the Bible was the river Nile transforming into blood with a foul smell akin to rotting flesh. It would be a frightening experience if you happened to visit the river for water and what you saw instead was an expanse of red-colored water. The thought of being surrounded by blood-filled water is quite unnerving. The ninth plague was a swarm of flies that attacked anything they found to be a threat. It was an interesting phenomenon as it seemed like they were being compelled to act in this way. The last of the biblical 10 plagues on Egypt by God was the most serious as it caused the death of every firstborn child. Even Pharaoh's son who, as a firstborn, couldn't escape this devastating destiny. Ancient manuscripts demonstrate that Yahweh had a major status in texts like Papyrus Amherst 63 and Jewish and Greco-Egyptian magical writings between 1st–5th century CE. After examining various cultures and their beliefs, I noticed that the gods they worship are essentially the same but have different names. It all makes sense as people have different languages to communicate. That brings us to the conclusions of this video. It would be great if you could hit the like and subscribe buttons. That way it helps us to continue creating content for you. We sincerely appreciate your attention and thank you for watching.